first, I guess. Call Luke up.
Good morning. I'm told we're supposed to sing first. So we're going to sing. Luke's the boss.
That's true.
You'll probably want to turn my mic off.
No.
Why not?
Let me see this world, dear Lord, as though I were looking through your eyes. A world of men who don't want you, Lord, but a world for which you died. Let me sing with you in the garden. Blur my eyes with tears of agony. For if once I could see this world the way you see, I just know I'd serve you more faithfully. Let me see this world, dear Lord, through your eyes when men mocked your holy name, when they beat you and spat upon you, Lord. Let me love them as you love them, just the same. Let me stand high above my petty problems and believe for men hell-bound eternally. For if once I could see this world the way you see, I just know I'd serve you more faithfully.
Tell them that's the song. That was the song that we sang way back when we went on deputation, and we've been singing it.
In 1988, when a lot of you weren't even born. It's good to be here this morning with you. We come back on furlough, of course, to see friends and family, but the main reason is to report back to supporting churches like yours that pray for us. And I want to encourage you, go by our table, pick up a prayer card, and if you want to follow along, we put out a prayer letter every 2 months. We just put out another one just this last week, and the May-June one. I wrote it. Yeah, we take turns doing that. But Yeah, and that's on our blog, and it's on that card. And the QR code is just our bio. It's too small of a card to put our whole bio on there. So tells about us, tells about our testimony and all. I'm here to encourage you as a missionary to be a missionary, to be a light in a dark world. You know, Satan's doing his job, and he's doing a very good job. And prove me wrong if I am. But Satan is doing a fantastic job in ruining this world. So we have to work overtime in doing our part in shining our light. You know, in St. Charles, Iowa, it's a fantastic place. Some of you probably don't even lock your doors. You know, if we went out to the parking lot, there's probably cars that aren't like. Anyone here not lock your car on the parking lot? There you go, dear. See, and we're in St. Charles, Iowa, and places like this are getting few and far between. And you know, Luke traveled with us for 32 days. And he put up with us and we put up with, no. We didn't even know he was around half the time. He's quiet. We're up. Yeah. Yeah, Luke set up our display every time and drove. And we want to thank you for sharing them with us down in Brazil and here. He had an eye-opener, that's for sure, especially in Phoenix. We tried to get a hotel, and all the snowbirds that must be wealthy or something, because the only room with a roll-in shower, because I'm a handicap, were $420 a night. And then that's times two, because Luke gets his room, you know. And no. And so we called around, and there was a hotel with good ratings in South Mesa. And either you speak Spanish there, or you do without. We were the only, almost anyway. But it was a rough area of town. And you probably know the rest of the story if you've talked with Luke. But I'm here to encourage you. And I'm here to share what God has done with your prayers since the last time we were here 4 years ago. We came here, didn't we, right before? We had to cut our last furlough short. Some missionaries stayed here and sat around and waited it out, but churches started canceling meetings because of the pandemic. We loaded up and went back. So we're finishing up last furlough and doing this furlough, and some churches we haven't, and individuals we haven't seen for 8 years or 9 years. And but not you folks. We're here to report and to thank you for your prayers and to encourage you, get one of our prayer cards. We do have coffee candy, again, from Brazil. We brought it up. Coffee candy from Brazil. Pick up a piece, try it. If you like it, take another one. We don't have unlimited, but I think we can spare 2 pieces for those of you who love coffee. And the Brazilian coffee is different. Largest exporter of coffee in the world. Okay, can we have the video on? What we did. Bev broke her foot. We're getting old. Few other health issues. the home office and our sending church advised us that we should move in near family. We do have a son, our oldest son, Joshua, married a Brazilian girl. She's an RN in an ICU in a Jewish hospital in the city of Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo, the city of Sao Paulo, is, well, I was going to look that up again, the population of Iowa. Well, what is the population of Iowa? 3 million? Well, 7 times the population of Iowa, and then you have some people left over. 23 million people smashed into an area 30 miles north to south, 50 miles east to west. 23 million people. Farm girl from Kansas. She lived at the end of a dirt road in an old house built in 1906. She milked cows by hand. Her mom had raised chickens, and they'd have a day where they took care of the chickens and put them in the freezer. How many chickens? 40 a day.
That's not a lot.
Yeah, see. Yeah, when was the last time you put 40 chickens in the freezer?
They probably did more.
Probably. And she went to a one-room schoolhouse. One teacher, all the grades, elementary. And I grew up in the sticks of Brazil. For a good part of my growing up years, I didn't have electricity. I didn't have running water. I didn't have a gas stove. We didn't have a gas stove. So, and to move to a city, 23 million people. We live in an apartment, 7 stories up, and it was a change. And we said, okay, Lord, worse has happened to us. What do you have for us? Church planting opportunities. Can you see that on the screen pretty good? Okay. It's a favela. It's a Brazilian slum. And there's a ton of people that live in this picture. Okay, if you got everyone that lived just in this picture, and the slum is way bigger than this, you will see in the latter picture the size of a slum. And in the slums, one melts into the others. And who draws the line of where one slum ends and another one begins? The drug lords do. Okay? They're the ones that run it. Okay? In a lot of slums, the police don't go in. The drug lords just take care of everything in there. Building permits in the city of Sao Paulo in that 30-50 zone are basically unheard of. A sister church down there bought a piece of land to start a congregation. 4 years ago, they've sent in all the paperwork. It's very good paperwork. They don't have a building permit yet. There is a way to get one, but they didn't want to go my way. If you want to know what it is, talk to me later. I'll tell you what I do. I could probably get it, but I have not gotten a building permit in the city limits of Sao Paulo. They say it's terrible. It's terrible. So an old warehouse was purchased, and we gutted it out, remodeled it, and it's New Life Baptist Church. There it is, an old warehouse. And one of the rooms is the auditorium. And when someone gets saved, we not only do baptismal classes right away and baptize them, but we do discipleship with them, leadership training. And why? Because there are some missionaries that don't have that vision, and they just go up, furlough time and they drop everything and come back and the church dies. Or they're online doing the meetings because there's no one to cover for them. I trained in the churches. I usually train 5, 6, 7 guys in each church how to preach a sermon, how to lead a Bible study, how to do a Sunday school class. And I tell them, I'm not a Brazilian, you are. I grew up down there. I went there when I was 1. But I say, you got to do better than me. I expect you to do better than I did. I expect you to do better without me than with me. And some of them take that to heart. Most of them do. So we have to have a vision as church planners, how to get from A, buying land, building a building, getting people together, evangelism, etc., and graduating it into national hands. And some missionaries, they've been there 5, 10, 20, 30 years, and they just don't know how to get out off of home base because of the vision or some other reason. Yes, we've had to go back to revitalize one of our works that got some poor leadership and they died down, and we went back and give them a lift. And they're doing fine now. But we do like to give people leadership skills. Bev does too. The ladies, children, she doesn't teach the men. She teaches me. No. Yeah, who's the boss? There's an old joke that goes, the rooster was in the farmyard crowing and says, I rule the roost. And the hen was over in the corner with the chicks pecking away, and she says, yeah, but I rule the rooster. Think about it. VBS? 2 VBSs a year. Woo-woo, that'd be a nightmare for the adults here. But the kids would love it, right? 2 VBSs a year? Wow. And there's children present, so I'll just say this. Abortion is illegal in Brazil, so there's a lot of kids. It's the largest Catholic country in the world, okay? So there are positive aspects of that, and a lot of kids. You say VBS, and the place packs out. Monday night, you say, well, what do you do with your week? Monday night, we usually, we rent out the local soccer stadium, which is right across the street from the church, and for a few hours, men from the church come and play soccer, bring their unsaved friends, and if there's members in the church right now that got saved right there. Wednesdays, went over to the barracks, police barracks, 51,000 policemen. How many policemen in St. Charles? No police? Don't need them. Everyone has 2 friends at home, Smith and Wesson. Yeah, that's who the police are. Second Amendment. But we go to the police, and yeah, the big cities, and suicide is a real thing to the police. They're frustrated because of all the new laws and stuff. And unfortunately, as a chaplain, we are called to do funerals. And most of the time it's that. So we work with them, and we do Bible studies, and we pray with them, and we counsel them. And yes, we evangelize them. The colonel, he gives us free rein on what we can say. and what we can do and when we get there and when we leave. We can go there anytime, but Wednesday's our day at the barracks. Church plant in Guacuri. Because we train guys right off to do preaching, we free up and branch out on Sunday nights. We started going to a slum, very dangerous slum. It's the most dangerous slum in the city of Sao Paulo. A lot of homicides. And we have a tent church there. Have a rented piece of property. They're going to be moving to another property. That's one bad thing about rental. We've tried to buy, and it just hasn't happened. We're teamed up with another missionary, and he's the leader. So, in God's time, we pray that they'll have their own land, their own building, and they'll be able to go forward. This is one of the streets. They have VBS too. And there's a little house on the property, and this is one of the rooms in the house. Bev does teach piano. We want to leave music in the church when we leave, because lots of times we show up at a church and they don't have someone to play the piano. They don't have someone to play the guitar. They don't have any music at all, and they sing a cappella. And we believe that the Bible teaches that music is a vital part of worship. My mom, I grew up in Brazil. My mom's was a missionary, my parents. My dad died of cancer, and she turned 80. We went up for her, got together with all the siblings from the States, and we went to her place, and we celebrated. And my youngest sister married a Brazilian, and he retired, and she retired. He was a policeman, she was a school teacher, and they both retired and moved up where he was, near where he was born, on a mountain. It's hot in Brazil. It's near the equator, and so it's warm. The day we left Brazil, it was 102 and humid. It was warm. And most Brazilians don't have what we have, air conditioning. I would say 95% of the Brazilians do not have air conditioning. And it's warm. Yeah, we got to Iowa, there's snow on the ground. Yeah, opposite. But we went up for a couple days to my sister's place and my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law is a great guy, we get along real good. He said, why don't you come up to the mountain a couple days? So we did. And that afternoon I said, get your neighbors together. And it's rural, so it's spaced between the houses, you know. It's like living outside of St. Charles. 41 people showed up. And we put up a bonfire and held a real church service. And Pedro and Rachel, my sister and brother-in-law, they were going an hour and a half to church each way on the weekend. That was 3 hours round trip to go to church. I said, you can't serve doing that. You can't be a vital part of your church. You were a Sunday school teacher and the treasurer of the church for years, Rachel. And I said, Pedro, you were a deacon and you filled the pulpit at least 2-3 times a month, because the pastor, he's a good speaker, so he would travel a lot. And one of the men would fill the pulpit. I said, start a church right here. Really? I said, yeah, where? I said, right here on your porch. They have a big porch. Before you know it, he calls one day and says, we have a problem. I said, what is it? You know, I thought he and my sister had gotten in a fight after they retired or something. And they were in dire straits or something. It wasn't. They had outgrown their porch. I said, well, that's a good problem. Let's build. Well, how are we going to build? I said, well, we'll start and God will supply. And God just brought it in. Bev and I have never done fundraisers. We just pray and ask people to pray, and God brings it in. And this is the building we put up. It seats about 100, 150 people. Brazilians are smaller than we are. I'm being nice. Yeah, we went to the inauguration. Family got saved. Get this. They live go out and walk for 3.5 miles and then walk back 3.5 miles. An unsaved family was invited, and it's on a mountain trail. There's no roads to their house, no street lights to their house. On a mountain trail, they walk 3.5 miles each way to go to a church service in a Baptist church. And they got saved. And I told my brother-in-law and sister, go do baptismal classes with them right away and baptize them and get them busy in the church. So they went to their house, and that's a lead light my brother-in-law took, and they hung it there. When they got there to the mud hut, they take cow droppings, fresh cow droppings, half and half with clay red mud, and put up sticks and vines woven, and then they use that as their walls. And that way, when it rains, it doesn't just disintegrate, fall apart. So when it rains, your house smells like a cow lot. It does anyway. And that's their house. And when they got there, there were 15 neighbors. So they have a preaching point. So these brand new believers went out and called all their neighbors to come to the church service at their house. And it was supposed to be baptismal classes. Oh, well, change it up and do a church service instead. Because I'm handicapped, and because Sao Paulo is the epicenter in South America, not Brazil, Brazil's half of South America, for the handicapped. There's hundreds of thousands of handicapped. There's the special needs hospitals are in the city of Sao Paulo and nowhere else in South America. So there's hundreds of thousands of them in Sao Paulo, and there's a single missionary, Brazilian missionary gal, that has to work with the handicapped, and we have come alongside of her, and we do all the evangelism. Yeah, Marcelinho, we like to do leadership training also. When we leave, we need to leave people to take over so there's not a void in our absence. We do 2 camps a year with the handicapped. One for the saved, one for the unsaved. The last one was in January. There were 75 unsaved. 74. Wrong. Okay. Yeah, Bev goes to the kitchen and it helps prepare meals and stuff. And we let out the word. Any of you want to help? Many hands make light the work. Any of you want to help? Go to the kitchen. This 13, 14-year-old girl, blind. She was born without eyes. Have you ever seen someone like that? They were born without eyes. She didn't have any. Says, I'm here to help. Well, what do you know how to do? She ended up peeling potatoes with a knife. And she was Bev said she was faster than her. So thought I'd share that with you. In our spare time, no. God also opened the door because I grew up amongst natives. My dad had gone up a mountain and started one church amongst natives on reservations, and I loved that life. I would bawl as a little kid for my dad to leave me up there because he only went up every other week. So I would say, can I stay, can I stay? And I'd spend 2 weeks as a child. I started when I was 6. I stayed up on the reservation, living with Indians. But God, in his own way, opened the doors to the Guarani nation. And we have works in 4 reservations. And yeah, we get stuck once in a while. Doesn't help that we're driving a Fiat. Brazilians like to suffer, they drive Fiats. But when you get there, it's beautiful. Luke was here this day, weren't you? Yeah, you were here. The pandemic was going on. We had a baptism of 9. Oh, baptism of 3. He just had another baptism. And the guy that we've trained there, Roberto, he's fantastic. He said, do better without me than with me. And he's taken that to heart. And he's opened works in 2 more reservations. So he, circuit ride preacher, 6 reservations. There we are out in the bush. Bev has a little battery run keyboard, and we do church services. It's great. This is one of the auditoriums that we've put up, church buildings, temples. Music, they love to sing, and we make sure that they are. Someone goes and teaches them, and their instrument of choice. Bev talked about teaching piano. No one took her up on it, so we made sure that they learn how to play the guitar, the acoustic. Where we are, St. Charles. Like I said, we train leadership. Pastor Carlos, he went to seminary and all, but really, really shy. He would write out his sermons. When am I supposed to be done? 10:30. No. Oh, okay. Real shy. He would read his sermon word for word. And wouldn't go out to visitation and stuff, and said, you have to get out in the community, and you have to let God speak through you and not just read something. And they read sermons, but he would just stand there looking down at his sheet the whole time, and page after page after page. It was kind of boring. And we worked with him, and he's doing a good job. Great. Walison, out at Guacuri, he and his wife, she's fantastic. He's getting there. No, he's a good guy too. We all have our problems. My brother-in-law, he said, we got to call a pastor. And I said, you call a pastor, they'll quit in the first month. They don't understand the mountain people. The mountain people won't understand them. You, and there's another guy up there. I'll train you guys in church administration and whatever. I said, it's stuff you guys already know, but I'll I'll just run it past to you, and you guys are going to be the leaders of this work. They're doing a good job. Lydia, the handicapped, she's the single missionary gal. And Alberto, the Indian works, doing a great job. Where we're headed back down to Brazil, Lord willing. Our last meeting is in October, and soon after that, we plan to pack up and leave. There's what favelas look like from a satellite. No, I don't know where that's probably a satellite picture. There's a couple 100,000 people that live in that picture right there. At least, right in that picture. Believe it or not, there's streets, there's paths, and if you get up close, each one of those dots is a house, and some of them have 6, 7, 8 kids. They live in a room 20 by 20. And there's another slum, Palmas. We bought a bus. We bring kids in. You went out to Palmas once, didn't you, Luke, or a couple of times? Yeah. And we're praying, and one of our dreams is there's enough people that have gotten saved there that we can start a work out there. Yeah, there's the bus. Okay. Because of the rat race, high taxes, outrageously high taxes, high crime, you can't get a building permit, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Companies are just leaving. Like here in the States, they're leaving the big cities. They're leaving Sao Paulo and moving right outside the 30-50 zone, finding a small town and starting over again. Iperó is one of those little towns. It was 18,000 people. It was, because it's almost 40 now, if not a little over. The Toyota plant closed shop in the city of Sao Paulo and moved out to Iperó, and other plants have followed. We have teamed up with a younger missionary who, this is his first church plant, and we've teamed up with him, bought the land. Yeah, there's the land. And we have already done all the leveling out the land from the front to the back of the land there. It's 13, 14 feet difference, and we've leveled it out just this last week. We got done, and we're looking forward to start putting building up. Already got a little storefront that we rented out, started meetings. And Ben and Danny Jacobs, we're going to have to rent a bigger place. I said, no. We have to build. You rent a bigger place, and then you rent a bigger place, and you never build. We got a little money for the building project. Let's get started. Well, I said, yeah, God will bring in the rest. Just watch. Get it started. So they've leveled out the land. I don't know if they were waiting for us to get back down to Brazil. I said, don't wait. We're a Skype call away. And they have. Doing a good job. Looking forward to getting back. Please pray. Please pick up one of our prayer cards, a coffee candy or two. And we are here to encourage you and thank you, and encourage you also to keep it up. God answers prayers. You say, how can a guy in a wheel, an old guy, I'm 64. You see, you're not old. Yeah, some of you. But yeah, as it goes, I'm towards the latter end. The doctors are surprised I'm still alive. but it's because of your prayers. We're still there, and God's allowing us to be a part of what He's doing in the world. Pastor.